hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, and Ben and Noel Bruning, B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has 4 dancing girls on the stage of the Golden Horseshoe in the Golden Horseshoe Review. Below, there's a 3-piece band of drums, piano, and a trumpet, and on either side is a box seats for the theater. On the back it reads, Golden Horseshoe Show. A lively finale at the Golden Horseshoe Review, one of Disneyland's many entertainments, is provided by the colorfully costumed Can-Can Girls. It's postmarked October 11th, 1963, with an Anaheim cancel and a 5-cent gray George Washington postage stamp, Scott number 1213. I assume they visited the park on Thursday, October 10th, 1963, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The weather was a high of 87, low of 58. Park attendance that day was 5,601. It's addressed to Albert Stevenson of Bain City, Michigan. It reads, Hi all, we've seen this old-time opera house show. We're on a train at Disneyland. Pop and Ma. To end March Map Madness, let's look at a map from Disneyland's 45 Years of Magic in 2000. On the cover of this map, it includes the dates of Friday through Thursday, May 19th through May 25th, as this was the era of Disneyland maps that would include the daily guide to shows, parades, as well as character greetings. Also on the cover of this map includes Disneyland written in the classic Gothic font with a purple hue and Tinkerbell holding a wand as the I in Disneyland. Below the tagline 45 Years of Magic is 3 firework bursts, making a not-so-subtle hidden Mickey over Sleeping Beauty Castle. At the bottom, there's a small oval that reads, Introducing Disney's FASTPASS, with the FASTPASS logo including Donald Duck racing towards the edge of the page. On the bottom is the Kodak logo that says this guide map is compliments of Eastman Kodak Company. The first interior flap includes the shows and parades on the top of this 2-page spread, and below the character greetings. At the time, the parade was Disneyland's 45 Years of Magic Parade of the Stars, and included 2 show times on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and 1 parade time on Mondays through Thursdays. Performing on the Tomorrowland Terrace were the Zippers. Got curious about this band and looked up their website, which recently went defunct as of last month, February 2026. Using the Internet Wayback Machine, I was able to learn that they were a band that started out competing on Star Search and won 7 weeks in a row. The genres they would play included top 40 dance hits, 80s hits, disco, classic rock, 60s rhythm and blues, 50s, 40s swing, country, beach party, instrumental jazz, and others. Also included on their website were the writer contracts for a 6-piece band through a 12-piece band setup. And they would perform at corporate events and weddings with various themes that matched their genres, like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, a biker theme, a beach theme, a rock and roll theme, a formal theme, a country theme, and there was even a photo with them dressed as superheroes. Other entertainment included Jump Jive Boogie Swing Party with Wartime Radio Review on Main Street, the Sword in the Stone ceremony, the fireworks show Believe There's Magic in the Stars, and Disneyland Presents Animazement, the musical, one of my personal favorites. Over in Frontierland, they had the all-new Woody's Roundup at the Golden Horseshoe stage, Fantasmic on the Rivers of America, and the Big Thunder Barbecue hosted Billy Hill and the Hillbillies. Listed for character dining experiences included breakfast at the Plaza Inn, Goofy's Kitchen at the Disneyland Hotel, Minnie and Friends breakfast and show at the Disneyland Pacific Hotel, as well as Practically Perfect Tea. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to enfieldpost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and enfieldpost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has the Skyway flying towards Matterhorn Mountain. Below the orange buckets and a yellow one is Monorail Yellow heading towards the monorail station. You can see guests walking near the Submarine Lagoon sign and sitting near Tomorrowland Terrace. On the back it reads, Matterhorn Mountain. Skyway buckets swing high above Tomorrowland on a journey through Matterhorn Mountain to Fantasyland. Sleek monorail trains offer still another type of sky cruise in a swift, silent journey over the winding highway in the sky. Its postmark is obscured with an always used zip code cancel and a 10-cent blue We Hold These Truths Jefferson Memorial postage stamp, Scott number 1510. Let's assume they visit the park on Wednesday, July 17, 1974, when park hours were from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. The weather was a high of 89 and a low of 62. It's addressed to Michelle Richo of Racine, Wisconsin. It reads, Dear Michelle, thank you for sharing your vacation. We went to California to see our son in San Diego and went to Disneyland. His leave from the Navy started July 15th, and the next day we went to San Diego Wild Animal Park. We'll be glad to be back in school, won't we? It's been a very pleasant summer for me. Sincerely, Mrs. Willis. Looking at the full interior map, which is 5 panels that includes the entire map of Disneyland, as well as a detailed list of attractions and adventures, restaurants and refreshments, stores, and exhibits. There is a similar theme I mentioned on last week's episode, which includes each land being given their own color. Although, looking at this map, the color of the land doesn't match the color listed for the attributes, but rather a title rectangle for each land matches. For instance, Main Street, which is colored purple, has a red rectangle reading Main Street, as well as the attractions being pointed out with red circles and numbers corresponding to the attractions and adventures listed in the Main Street USA key. For Adventureland, it's green. For New Orleans Square, it's purple. For Critter Country, brown. Frontierland, orange. Mickey's Toontown, yellow. Fantasyland, pink. And Tomorrowland in blue. Also, in the right-hand corner, the map introduces Disney's FASTPASS. Reading Disney's FASTPASS is a free guest service. Currently, Disney's FASTPASS is operating on Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, and Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. There will be more attractions added in the future. It goes on to describe the original instructions for FASTPASS, as well as a warning to use your current FASTPASS before receiving a FASTPASS for another attraction. As this map is from 2000, the Disneyland Resort was getting ready for the expansion of Disney's California Adventure, and includes a small yellow box that reads, During resort expansion, operation of the Disneyland monorail may be periodically interrupted or may be limited to one-way trips. This was a time where the monorail may have gone back and forth as part of the monorail track was unable to do a complete circuit tour. Another limited time experience at the park included the broadcast booth for Radio Disney. It notes that the Just Plain Mark and Zippy show would record live from the park Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 5. This would have been located at the base of the Rocket Rod load and unload areas. The last 2 panels of the map to review include an advertisement for Remember the Magic with Kodak, which shows some Kodak products that are available in the park, as well as the fact that there was an option for in-park film developing available at a Kodak location. The other panel lists the services. These services include the Baby Care Center, Disney's FastPass, Foreign Currency Exchange, guided tours, the Kennel Club, Lost and Found, Lost Guests, services for guests with disabilities, smoking, strollers, and a AAA touring and travel service center operated by the Automobile Club of Southern California. One of my other favorite features of this map include a clock icon in the legend that represents that these shows were presented every 20 minutes on the hour, for the attractions of the Enchanted Tiki Room, the Walt Disney Story featuring great moments with Mr. Lincoln, and the Country Bear Playhouse. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has the top of the entrance of PNC Park, the home of the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's postmarked March 16, 2026, with a San Francisco cancel, and a 25-cent American Eagle with shield holding an olive branch and arrows postage stamp, as well as a 37-cent USS Constellation Navy ship postage stamp, Scott numbers 2431 and 3869 respectively. It reads, 3/15/26. Hi Clocky, happy birthday month to you, my friend. It's almost baseball season. PNC Park is a really beautiful ballpark. Enjoy your birthday month, Jim. Thank you so much for the postcard, Jim. I didn't notice until working on this episode that this is one of your personal photos made into a postcard. I really need to start taking photos of places I visit regularly to make postcards like this. So far, going to different ballparks, I've only seen Coors Field in Colorado have a postcard for sale on their dugout shop. I was lucky enough to catch an exhibition game last week, and I look forward to the long baseball season we have in front of us. Also, thanks for the birthday wishes and fun stickers on the back of the postcard. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Sent from Disneyland, or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell. Theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.